In today's video, I just want to go over some of the mistakes I've done running various content marketing programs over the past 10 years and how to avoid them so you don't crash and burn like I've done. Now, we all make mistakes when running content programs, but hopefully with these, you'll make less. So let's get started. Hi everyone, I'm Carl. Welcome to Next Level Video Marketing, a channel where you get the latest strategies and tips to help you achieve your marketing and business goals through video. Now remember, if this is your first time on this channel and you want to get the greatest impact for your videos, hit the subscription button below, hit the little notification bell so you don't miss anything. So I've been running many content marketing programs for brands, businesses, large, small enterprises, startups, and so on for more than 10 years and had a lot of success, but also had a lot of failures in between. Now for me, experience is the best teacher, and there's no way I could have gotten some of the successes without running into the failures and learning from them. So here are the major content marketing programs that I've encountered that hopefully you can avoid so you can have success in your programs. So the first mistake is planning your content marketing program as if it's a regular marketing campaign, which it isn't. Now I want to share with you an anecdote from the great Robert Rose, one of the original OGs of content marketing, and he had a great presentation at one of the Content Marketing World Conferences that I attended. In it, he differentiates between the value of campaigns and content, where a campaign's value is in time, the moment the campaign starts and the moment the campaign ends. So for example, paid advertising, where the moment you start paying, that's where the value starts, and the moment you stop paying, that's where the value ends. Versus content, where the value is over time. Just as long as you provide helpful, useful, relevant content to your intended audience, they will continue finding value with your content well after that content was written, published, produced, recorded, or so on. With any content marketing program, you have to show up for your audience over and over and over again. It's not good enough to maybe have a 4-episode, 10 blog post, or 10 recorded podcasts as a pilot for your programs, but rather you're probably looking at 50 episodes, 50 videos, 100 blog posts to really start seeing some of the results. So the second big content marketing mistake is not making your content production process easy. So if you've overcomplicated the process or you're making it way too onerous to create the content, then there's no way you can consistently do it. So for example, if you're creating videos and you're trying to schedule interviews with your guests every week, that's really tough to do rather than trying to record it in batches where you can maybe bang out 8, 12, 20 videos all at one time and then slowly publish them over the next several weeks. So the production process has to be really easy. So maybe when you're first starting your program, you make everything really easy. You might not have the highest production value, but at least you're starting to understand how the process works. So then you can scale it and add all the additional features that you want to. So your program should really operate like a machine. From when you write, shoot, record your content pieces, to editing and doing the production process, to actually publishing the content and then promoting, sharing, and distributing that piece of content. So the third major content marketing mistake is expecting results way too early or giving up way too early. Remember that it takes time to build an audience and you have to consistently provide value over time so your audience can trust that you'll be there. And to see the results that you're looking for, you'll probably need about 12 to 18 months of consistently producing content. You'll probably need about 12 to 18 months of consistently producing content before you see any of the results. In fact, your first 3 months of creating content is less about your audience, but more for yourself. So you get comfortable with the process and really find your voice. So the fourth major mistake is not getting buy-in, especially if you're doing this on behalf of a business or a brand. Nothing's worse than trying to do this program in a silo and people having unrealistic expectations because you didn't manage them at the beginning.
Which is why I alone can fix it.
It's also easier to get your program approved and continued when you got everyone bought in and everybody knows exactly what you're doing. Because if you work in a silo and not everybody knows what you're doing, you'll eventually get some people, and probably worse, executives or somebody in leadership, questioning, why are you doing this? How come they're not seeing the results from the investment they put in? It's also great to get constructive feedback because you're looking at it from your perspective versus others who are consuming the content and might see things differently that you might miss that can really help your content program grow. So the fifth major content marketing mistake is kind of related to the fourth one, where it's not asking for outside help or feedback. Again, you can't really do these programs in a silo unless you're actually building it yourself. And even then, it's great to ask for help, great to ask for outside feedback, and even better, to try to include other experts to actually be on your show. So while you can do this on your own, some of the best content marketing programs that I've ever been a part of or led have always included experts either inside the business or related to the industry that you can bring on to provide that extra value to your audience.
Nobody knows much more about technology, this type of technology, certainly, than I do.
Whether that person acts as a subject matter expert to bounce questions off when you're writing a blog, or even better, have this subject matter expert on your podcast or in your videos and ask them questions so they can answer it directly to your audience. So if you've done your research correctly, then you know your audience is already asking these questions. So why not just have the expert answer them? So the sixth major mistake, and one that's overlooked, but actually is the glue that holds your whole content marketing program together, is not having an editorial calendar, because this calendar actually helps you keep accountable to consistently produce content.
It's not about the events. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency.
It also helps you plan groups of content together. So for example, you can have a series 1 month and another series another month. And it also helps people who are interested in the program who just want to know what's going on, know what kind of content is coming down the pipe in the next few days, weeks, or even months. So the next major mistake is really easy to fall into, especially if you're starting out when there's a lot of things going on, trying to find your processes, and that's properly syndicating and repurposing your content. Remember that people consume content in many different ways. Some prefer to read, some prefer to watch, some prefer to listen, or a combination thereof. And remember, the best way to reach your audience is to ensure that your content is in many different formats. Now, I created a video on how to actually repurpose your content in many different ways, which you can check out here and in the description below. So if you're getting value from this video, would definitely appreciate you hitting that like button. And the question of the day I have for you is, what other content marketing mistakes have you done and what lessons have you learned from them? Let me know in the comment section below. So content marketing mistake number 8 is not getting audience feedback. And this is one of the most underrated tactics, because if you know what your audience wants, you can just keep creating content that they'll readily consume. And this is really easy to do, whether it's sending surveys with your emails, or using your channels to create polls, or even just asking them questions in the comment section. One of the secrets to building an audience is creating content that your audience wants to consume. Now, finding and understanding what your audience actually wants to consume and their preferred medium is much more difficult. But once you do, and you do your proper research, and you get audience feedback, it's really about creating that content, them consuming it, and just having your audience and your program grow. So the 9th major content marketing mistake is not doing your research.
We want you to tell us what you think and be honest.
And this is pretty straightforward. One that actually I'm not guilty of often, because I really try to focus on researching the content piece before it's actually even shot or produced, even researching before I actually create a content marketing program. So there's 4 major research pieces that I do before publishing any type of content. And the first one is SEO and video SEO if your program is on YouTube. This is a process in itself, so I actually have a video that I created on how I do this, and you can check it out here and in the description below. The second major piece is trends, which you could potentially piggyback off of. And this is a great way to actually gain a lot of views and then gain a lot of subscribers and gain a lot of eyeballs on the content you create because of the popularity of whatever trend is going on.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
The third major piece is researching what your competitors are doing and seeing what kind of content they're producing.
I hate the guy, but he's good.
And maybe using some of the skyscraper technique that Brian Dean has put out, or just maybe tailoring your content in a different manner. And the final research piece, which we talked about, is any audience feedback that you've gotten. So the final content marketing mistake that I've been guilty of in the past is not including a CTA or a call to action anywhere within the content, because you want your audience to actually consume more than one piece. You want them to consume multiple pieces or multiple videos or multiple episodes. Now, I prefer to put my calls to actions usually closer to the beginning or in the middle of the content because I know most people won't end up finishing that blog post, finishing the listening to the podcast, or watching the video. And you want to call out some of the other related content pieces to the content they're currently consuming, whether it's related videos, related podcast episodes, or even content upgrades in blog posts. So by avoiding these mistakes, you can position your content marketing program for success. But nothing actually beats creating and seeing what happens. No amount of planning, strategy, editorial mission statements, editorial calendars can predict what your audience actually wants to consume. So if you want an example or a case study of a successful content marketing program that I've developed in the past, then you got to check out this 2-part series. The first part is developing a video content marketing strategy, and then the second part is actually implementing that strategy and the results that occurred. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our next episode.